Here and make some noise, guys. We are going into game number 1. SOS against Life. Introducing our players in the bottom right in the blue. Our previous BlizzCon champion. He is Life. And in the upper left, in the red, make some noise for SOS!
Now, of course, this is the World Championships, guys. So get out there, hashtag WCS, let people know where they can watch, because we want to show the best match of the year here tonight.
This is going to be such a crazy series. Life so well known for harassing, for winning, by just exploiting a moment or two where his opponent's not paying attention, getting in there, doing that damage. SOS, it's a bit more difficult to describe how he plays, because it's so perfect. He gets into the strangest situations and ends up making it work no matter what.
Well, talking about strange situations, SOS has made an 11 gate outside of his natural here. So he is going for a very early Zealot rush on Life to lead off this series.
And interestingly enough, we have Life over here just taking an expansion hatchery, but not the natural. Over here in the center right, this could get a little bit weird. So when you have these two hatcheries disconnected like that early on, that means obviously you can't get Zerglings to meet up with each other as easily. The Zealots can be split more easily, harass drones quite quickly. I'm very curious how Life is going to handle this.
Well, he doesn't have any units to handle it with, so I don't think he's going to handle it too well, to be honest. Life has been playing a very greedy style against Protoss tonight, especially against Classic, and SOS obviously knows that. Look at this, he's even adding a Forge. We are going to see a Zealot and Cannon Rush going down.
You know, SOS, very well known for his cannon rushes. He identified that there was no spawning pool right away. Now, look how he splits here. The Zealot going into the main. Meanwhile, a cannon rush over here in the center right. This will be incredibly difficult for Life to handle.
The spawning pool isn't even done yet. There's no drones up here. You can count that hatchery out already. That cannon is going up. In the meantime, a Zealot in a perfect location here. Some nice drone micro by Life. He does take it out, but not before losing 3 drones.
And with the hatchery finish, the cannons can punish that so hard. That expansion should be taken out. Meanwhile, the second Zealot now comes in here, harassing the drones. So many bruised drones. SOS carefully microing in between the minerals to get good surface area.
Oh, just a beautiful move here by SOS, running back and forth in those minerals. He's costing so much lost mining time here. Life is having a hard time making anything work right now.
The cannons are now hitting the hatchery. That war for sure will go down. We also have the Zealots continuing to hit the drones. Nice micro by Life. He does manage to take the Zealot out. Meanwhile, over in the upper center part of the map, another expansion, the gold base being taken. I think that's probably the best move that Life could do given this really impossible situation.
Yeah, no, I mean, SOS had a brilliant, perfect opening here, killing a hatchery, killing 5 drones for 2 Zealots, dealing ridiculous amounts of damage. But Life, of course, just as creative and flexible as SOS, taking that gold base, he wants to catch up immediately on his economy.
Lings are now coming down, and they're going to try to attack. No, actually, they're going to. Okay, they are going to go ahead and try to attack the upper left. It does look like there should be a Zealot finishing up over here, just in the nick of time to block. If he actually does block it, instead the Zealot rallied over there. This will allow the Zerglings to get inside the main and possibly end up taking out some probes.
Normally, I would say, don't worry, it's just 4 Zerglings. You have a Zealot, but these are Life Zerglings. This guy has some of the best Zergling micro in the business, going right up into this probe line, dealing a lot of damage to these probes, but already 1 Zergling goes down.
One probe getting very, very softened up here, but a nice block there by SOS so far. Perfect micro. The Lings now circling around. He has to try to get one of the bruised probes. It's going to be an easier kill.
Oh, and one coming through right now. Look at SOS pulling that probe off, trying to micro it away. Another one gets into the geyser. 2 very red probes right now. Beautiful pull away there by SOS, and he saves it.
Absolutely perfect.
Oh, man, I am already getting some sick nerd chills here.
We got a proxied Stargate off the back of the cannon rush.
He
did
awesome.
one rush, and then out of convenience, he might as well make the Stargate there to continue attacking. Now, let's remember, though, I don't believe, if we can get a vision check, I don't believe that sOs is aware of the gold base, which may cause a problem. No, excuse me, he did see it. So that will put sOs in a much better position. Had he not spotted that, this game may turn out very differently.
Well, look at this. He is starting to poke in right now with that Stalker, realizing that speed is definitely not done quite yet. And this is going to focus all Life's attention on blocking this pressure on the gold base, which means, will he know to make spores in time to defend against this Oracle? And I'm going to tell you, Tasteless, I don't think he's going to.
And when you're split up as Zerg like this without the creep connecting and everything, it's very tough to defend all your bases. So he can be punished from multiple different angles here.
Well, let's see how it goes. We have the first Oracle popping out, not a spore in sight right now. 6 gateways on the way, coming right into the natural. Gonna pick off 2 drones immediately. All the rest of these drones should be able to go down as well. A couple queens and some fancy micro from Life trying to save those, dealing some damage to the Oracle, but it gets a lot of kills here.
Nice job getting that pylon set up while he was microing that and actually escaping with the Oracle. We saw a big gateway explosion back in the main base of sOs, so he's going to follow this up with an attempted killing blow. Right now, odds definitely in sOs's favor.
Yeah, you're building 3 spore crawlers right now. That is not going to help out against 7 gateways worth of units warping in. Even this second Oracle comes in, gets some more units, some more drone kills, and flies out of there. This is going to be a deadly push from sOs.
I really like how sOs has been adding on damage since that cannon rush. He makes a Stargate there. Now he's using that to warp in more units to amplify the rush. This is going to be very difficult. And keep in mind, sOs, he gets to choose whether to attack the gold base or go into the main. And I would say losing either at this point in time for Life would result in a loss.
Yeah, it's pretty unacceptable to lose anything more as Life. He's already lost 13 drones to Oracles. He lost 5 early on. He lost a hatchery early on. And he's done no actual damage to sOs, who saved every probe in his base somehow. But this is going to be a game-ending move if sOs pulls it off.
Also, bear in mind, Life did not see the multitude of gateways that were made inside of sOs's main. So it's very difficult to have a good sense of the timing of the attack. So there's a big chance that this attack right here, right now, may end up blindsiding Life.
Well, it looks like it is going to. Not a lot of units here. Some Zerglings come in for a flank maneuver, but the Oracle's sitting here. A couple force fields go down. Gonna be able to pick off those Lings very, very quickly. The Roach is starting to fall as well, and Life has almost nothing left.
The attack is now coming down here. Now, there's many ways he can do this. He can either try to stay here and fight in a second. He can go up the ramp and try to just block off the main. Reinforcements coming down right now. The number's just too great in sOs's favor.
Well, it looks like he is pulling his drones, trying to fight right now against these Zelzin.
And his opponent here in the upper left, in the red, winning game number 1. Let's make some noise for sOs.
All right, as you already said, Tasteless, this is an early spawning pool. This is a spawning pool with just 9 drones behind it. So definitely a very aggressive opening here from Life, but sOs already has a gateway on the way. So will he be able to defend against this?
Well, Life definitely shifted gears. I don't know. We won't know for sure until we ask him if this was a premeditated build or if this is a reactionary build to what happened in game number 1. But he is going to go for quick Zerglings out here, and that means it's going to be sOs that is forced to be the defender in this game.
Yeah, look at that. Already sees 6 on the way. He knows what he has to do from here. Putting down a second pylon. Looks like he's going to go for a full wall in and chrono boost out this Zealot. He is going to have to get a bunch of Zealots out and try to hold against Life.
The Lings are now headed northbound. We have a Zealot warping in and being chronoed out, rallied to in between the 2 pylons to force a wall off here.
That's right.
And it looks like that should be getting there just barely in time. There it is.
All right, second Zealot being chrono boosted out as well. The Ling's going to start working on some buildings. They want to lure that Zealot out so that they can run behind him and get in if possible. But some good micro here by sOs. Still a lot of damage being put on that gateway.
Yeah, really nice footsies by that Zealot, but this gateway is still taking a lot of damage. No more shields, and an attempted runaround. Nice block. Second Zealot does pop out. Probe there to block the entrance, and he's going to have to zone out the rest of these Lings because that gateway is in very bad shape right now.
But you know what? With 3 Zealots out, 8 Zerglings aren't really going to be able to finish it off. So a good hold so far by sOs. But behind it, Life is taking his expansion, something that sOs is going to have to do very soon.
We have 3 Zealots out here. And this is a bit of a nuisance right now for Protoss. Protoss is having to react to the Zerg. So right now, Life is in the driver's seat, and SOS is going to have to keep responding. Oh, we have one Ling now coming around here, and it looks like he should not be able to actually slip through here, but a nice attempt.
All right, those Zerglings, Life just using his really quick hand speed here, trying to harass still with them. But looks like SOS now with 3 Zealots and a Mothership Core out, maybe going to put some counter pressure on. What he would want to do with this is force out some more Zerglings instead of drones from Life, further hurting Life's economy.
Remember that what we just saw back there from Life, he's known to be the best at that in the world, trying to get Lings inside of your base. So a pretty impressive job there by SOS to hold it. Now, SOS feels pressured right now to do some damage to the opposing player. He has to get down there and try to threaten Life. Life is doing everything possible to slow down this attack. You saw he made him chase those Lings to the upper right and then ran past, now making a beeline over to the expansion. There is some defense here, but that did slow down that rush. In a minute here, we're going to see if SOS can actually do any damage at all.
Well, I don't know how much damage he's going to do, but just the fact that he has forced 10 more Zerglings out of Life at a time where Life wanted to make 5 drones instead, that in and of itself is very powerful. Now, we do have this counterattack of these Lings, but with that sentry out, not going to be a big problem for SOS to hold on against.
Really nice force field there, perfectly placed. And he's just checking now to see if there's anything over there. Now, these Lings could still actually get over there, and they're going to get that pylon and actually take it down. The probe is trying to block, but the Lings, once again, do manage to get inside, and this sentry will go down.
That's a nice kill right there, killing off a sentry, a probe, and a pylon. More damage than really has been done here by SOS on the other side of the map. And they are going for another sentry. Oh, the sentry takes a lot of damage and goes down. That right there is a pretty big deal.
The 2 Lings are, at least for the time being, blocked off, but this is going to be a problem because even if these Lings aren't killing that many probes, they are going to slow down mining, and right now mining is everything SOS needs to do to get back into this game.
And let's not forget, killing off that pylon, we no longer have a warp gate research going. He has to make another pylon over here that he really doesn't need at the moment as far as supply goes, but he has to get warp gate out, which will now be slowed down. So Life somehow made a miracle happen with those 8 Zerglings.
I didn't think he was ever going to get back in there. I mean, you knew that SOS knew that was a threat, but Life executed it so perfectly. He just forced his way in, and now we see Life being chasing out SOS. SOS is going to have to evacuate this premise right away.
Well, he is trying to get out of here, but at this point, the best he can do is take a lot of Zerglings with him, kills a few of them off, but loses all 3 Zealots. Luckily, the Mothership Core, of course, can get away, but there's no way for him to have any more map control, at least for the next short while.
And that's a real problem for Protoss. This means Zerg can completely seize control of this game. We see drones being pumped out at a rapid rate as Zerg continues to tech up. Right now, SOS has to get back on his feet, but beyond even the Lings getting in and killing those probes, I think the biggest impact here was killing the pylon, which shut down power there for upgrading warp gates. So, as you know, Protoss can't really get back into their feet in a game until warp gate finishes, and we see it's going to finish momentarily, but that's quite late considering what a normal game would look like.
Well, you know, that is definitely a fact and something he's taken into consideration. And lucky for him, he's decided to go ahead and scout out. Because right now, we have 2 Roach Warrens being made. It looks to me tasteless. And look, he should have seen that 1 Roach Warren flying down towards his natural base. They might zone him off of the 2nd Roach Warren. That's a pretty big deal. Okay, he does see it now. Did he click on the other building to actually realize what it is? I believe he did. So I think he's going to see that this is going to be a quick double Roach upgrade, and that is very scary to deal with as Protoss.
Well, if there's anybody who can deal with it, it would be SOS. The Roaches are now coming out here. This is a very specific timing. We do see the Dark Shrine being warped in. This is what I think most people would regard sometimes unorthodox tech, but when you get into odd positions, occasionally going for Dark Templars is the better move, because if you get them in a bad spot when you have Dark Templars, things can spiral out of control for the other player very quickly.
Certainly can. He's trying to scout what's going on, never sees that Dark Shrine despite seeing deep into the natural and deep into the main base. So a really great hiding spot there by SOS. We're going to have to see if Life is ready for the Dark Templars, but the other part of it is, will SOS be ready for the amount of speed, burrow movement Roaches that Life's going to have?
It's going to be pretty difficult. Now, when Life is investing in an attack like this, you have to remember that the attack has to do a lot of damage. Usually attacks like this are intended to win the game or cause such a crippling blow that there's not a way to recover. And the Zerg can then make decisions from there. But sOs, as we've seen in this BlizzCon and over the past years of casting him, you and I, he recovers from stuff that we do not think is possible. He really is kind of, it's a bit of a Neo in the Matrix situation here. He actually bends the universe to his will a lot of times. So let's go ahead and see how he manages this roach attack that's coming up here right now.
Well, it is a lot of roaches. He has to get out of there right now. Immediately, the roaches go over those force fields, push forward. He wants to get as many sentries as possible, does pick one off, but he will be defended from there.
Did sOs lose a single unit back there? I don't think he did.
Yeah, he lost one sentry there.
One sentry, okay, was taken out there. But a nice save there by sOs. Now, even though Life hasn't penetrated the base yet, he has managed to deny a third base from being created.
All right, now we do see those roaches kind of pushing up here once again, trying to take out the destructible debris. They want to find a way in. Of course, they can burrow move under those force fields anytime.
Man, we have 3 DTs coming up here. If sOs can hold this, these Ts can do some damage. This would be huge right now for sOs.
Oh, and Immortal pops out just in time. The Observer is there as well, but the roaches push those DTs back immediately. That was a very important defense for Life.
Life super vigilant there, able to identify everything that was happening, immediately bounce that DT attack off. sOs did manage to keep all 3 Dark Templars alive, picks them up for later use in this game. Looks like he's going to see if he can't possibly attack another area. Obviously, the element of surprise is gone, but with these guys multitasking, you can still expect some crazy attacks from something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone can find something to do with those Dark Templars, it's sOs. But we now have Spine Crawlers and Spore Crawlers going into each and every base. Look at this. They're going to try to run in and get something done, but with roaches here, drones as well, not sure they're going to find any real damage.
The DT's driven out here. Now, even though the DTs can't do that much damage because Zerg knows it's coming, this is called pinning. He's able to keep the Zerg back in the base because if Zerg leaves his base, then the DTs will be dropped in and they do damage anyways. So right now it's a cat and mouse game inside of Life's base, which is not the game Life wants to play because as this is occurring, sOs will expand to the top center.
But will he be able to hold the top center? We have 14 Hydralisks on the way. If you look at the supply, it's pretty crazy. Life is going to be maxing out up to 200 very soon, whereas sOs only at 110 is in a lot of trouble.
And Life made the right choice here, hitting that near max out point. He's going to dive into the second base, burrowing underneath that force field, and actually now going into the main. It's going to be up to sOs to try to stop this before it deals too much damage.
Well, those roaches continue to burrow and move forward. There are cannons and detection all over the place, so sOs is dealing a lot of damage to these roaches all the way. Was this wasteful from Life? He had such a huge army, but now all of his roaches are going to be gone.
And this was a great play here. Oh, no. The War Prism's actually getting driven back.
Oh, what a snipe right there.
Even the best of the best, not able to stay on top of everything. Great play here by Life. Getting into the main, he's burrowed roaches throughout. I believe it's actually just concentrated right here. He's burrowed those roaches here. So if Protoss tries to leave, similar to the function of the Warp Prism with the DTs, same idea. Protoss leaves, he unburrows and starts attacking stuff. This will pull the Protoss back in. In fact, he's even starting to move them around to see if he can spread them out.
Yeah, indeed. And, well, he's going to see those come down. He's actually on top of that, so there could be some roaches left in the main. But in the meantime, we do have a roach attack at that third, picking off some of these probes, costing some mining time as well.
Great job here by Life. So the dynamic of this game has changed a little bit because I think sOs was playing pretty smart through parts of this. Life has overall been playing better. Life is hitting a point where he's maxed out. The game will not allow him to make any more units, whereas sOs is still setting up all the building blocks, trying to get to that point where they have that, where he has that powerful army. So from here, Life can continue to try to bludgeon sOs and knock him out of this game. It'll be up to sOs to defend absolutely perfectly any attack coming here from Life.
That's right, and you know what? He has 4 Immortals. He has a lot of Blink Stalkers with that just awesome +2 attack upgrade. He doesn't have that many sentries, though, so I'm a little bit nervous for him moving out on the map. I think he just needs to basically go towards 200 supply if he's going to want to take Life out.
I think you're right, Artosis. I think he's just got to wait it out. I don't think there is an easy solution. We could have a sandwich being made up here. Protoss going to have to back up. Nice force fields. Protoss getting into a better position. But the numbers here for Life are the real problem, not even so much the angle.
Not even wasting a single force field there is sOs. He knows those are at a premium right now. Life just moving beyond those force fields, getting into position. We do have a Colossus now, but that's a lot of roaches in the front. Some good force fields. Burrow movement going up, going forward here. The Immortals dealing huge amounts of damage and a huge concave of Hydras at the end.
Lives continue to attack up into the ramp. The two Immortals in the front taking damage, but at the last moment, Life begins to back up as DTs come. Overseers then come back in, allowing Life to re-engage.
Oh, and it looks like with no force fields left, with no Guardian Shield left, sOs has to pull back. He pulls back to his cannons, but the Hydras taking out that Cybernetic core. No longer can we see any Stalkers or Sentries warped in, and that is brutal to happen to sOs.
Huge problem right now for sOs. He's been locked out of his third base. Right now, Life is just trying to figure out the right moment to actually dive in there and destroy that. sOs has to play. It's a real tightrope walk here. If he overextends, his army dies. If he backs up too much, his third base dies. So Life in a very good position.
Indeed he is. He's attacking both at once right now, engaging the army as well as hitting that third base, realizing that he has a strong lead at the moment. It looks like sOs starts to beat the army that's engaging his army, but his third base is in shambles.
We have DTs warping in the upper right. Nice blinking here by sOs, but is it going to be enough? Colossus micro back, but more and more roaches and Hydras pushing forward. His Life's numbers seem to be endless. Let's get hypey. We're now going into game number 3, introducing our players in the upper right, winning game number 2 in BlizzCon last year. Give it up for Life. His opponent in the bottom left, also a BlizzCon champion. In the red, he is sOs!
All right, here we are, game number 3. And, you know, on this strange map, this is a map that isn't really used all that much in the scenes that these guys play the most of their games in. So they're going to be a little bit unfamiliar with it, but I don't think that's really going to affect either of them because, again, so much of this matchup comes down to the mind games, to these two tricking each other and getting an advantage.
Well, I'm curious to see what the builds are going to be here. Remember, a best of 1 is different from a best of 3, is different from a best of 5, is different from a best of 7. Because the more games you have, the more time you have to study your opponent. So the strats, they pick out the orders in which they do the strategies and how well those strats work against each other. They're constantly factoring in before each game. And the fact that both games started out with a beatdown pretty early on that then snowballed is pretty significant. We haven't seen a neck-and-neck game yet from these two guys, but it does seem that Life so far going to once again opt for early spawning pool, and I think that's a wise decision. If I was in Life's shoes, I would not be comfortable not having the ability to defend myself. You can't really gamble that much against sOs.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that. And, you know, I'm interested to see how greedy sOs gets against this. It's obviously, you know, a very fast speed build. We saw him do something somewhat similar in his previous Zerg vs. Protoss matches, where you get a lot of speedlings. You can break down those back rocks and do an attack, but sOs, I think he's going to be ready for everything, and he's already got a Nexus halfway done, so if this doesn't hurt him, he's going to be way ahead.
That's very true. I mean, if you're going for anything that can attack early, you're probably not going for your economics early. So this is going to be something that if he doesn't do damage with, sOs will end up ahead.
All right, well, we do have Zerglings going across the map. A hatchery has been started at Life's natural expansion. More and more Zerglings being made, and that Zergling speed is on the way right now. It looks like he wants to start putting some pressure on this front gateway. Maybe his strategy here is to just break down that front door.
Now, no, what Life's doing, he's attacking the gateway. He wants to try to run around, but sOs's control is pretty solid here. I don't think it's going to end up happening, but he is bruising the gateway pretty badly.
Yeah, that is true. Definitely something that sOs has to watch. That's why he has to keep dancing these Zealots out. Now remember, almost the same thing was happening to Classic on this map, and Classic let the Zerglings in. Will sOs make that same mistake?
Speedlings backing up now, and actually many more lings on the way. It does look like Life is planning for something coming up here. He may attempt to actually break the entrance. This is going to become more and more difficult, though, with the Mothership core just dealing damage that the lings can't really prevent.
And
bad rally there.
That was a really bad rally.
That's actually, that it means a lot more than you think, because we knew how many more Zerglings were being made back at home, but having those two then rally in there is going to be a problem.
Yeah, the main part here was the fact that he kept showing only that initial group of Zerglings that SOS saw. So when he sees two more that are obviously on a rally, and let me tell you, he plays a lot of Starcraft 2, he knows that that was a rally point. So he knows more Lings are on the way. Look at this, he's making a forge, he's getting a sentry.
Oh my God, the gateway is getting low. He might be able to break in. It goes down, still to a wall up. But let's focus on what the strategy is here for Life. Life attacking the front. Meanwhile, he's trying to dig a hole into the back here. This is going to become a problem if SOS can't manage to cover everything from every side.
That's right, but SOS, he is getting ready. He's already knocked down those back rocks. He's made a cannon there, and a backdoor attack absolutely will not work against SOS here.
Now, even though the gateway was destroyed, it's really more important to be killing probes. So if these Lings don't do much of anything, it'll be a problem, because any Zerglings you're making are also drones that you're not making.
Well, right now we do have him attacking those back rocks. SOS sees that he was absolutely right. And again, a lot of this probably comes down to the fact that he saw those Zerglings rally. And so that is a big misstep for Life that has cost him dearly. Life backing up now, getting a third base, and making drones.
So he will back up here. SOS does survive that. And this is where really Protoss gets the room to breathe and then decide what kind of strategy they want to start developing into this game. This is a map where fourth base can usually be, for the Zerg, the point of contention. Protoss will oftentimes hit that as the game progresses.
That's right, and SOS, we're gonna have to see, does he want to himself expand again here, or does he want to go for an attack? He realizes that a lot of money was put into that attack by Life, that he is gonna have a hard time going into a longer macro game, but right now he might be able to just make a bunch of gateways and go push Life to death.
Yeah, and I think that is not a bad choice. SOS has had a lot of success with this. Oh my gosh, I guess he never saw, yeah, he just actually doesn't see any of that.
Yeah,
that's really good for SOS, because if you don't see them making, you don't know the exact timing of the attack, and it's really important that Life is geared up, balancing how many workers he's making, and then ready with enough of an army to actually defend. So SOS is going to hit him hard, and Life may be none the wiser until it actually comes and is at the front door of his expansion.
It's definitely the case, with all these gateways finishing up, and the fact that he has no idea about this, and the fact that +1 attack, which is going to make his Zerglings into mincemeat, is almost done here. This is going to be very deadly by SOS.
Yeah, very important to note. +1 attack, you kill Zerglings in 2 hits instead of 3, and that makes for a very unfair fight if you're Zerg, unless you are completely prepared, and we have that attack moving out. Remember, though, Life is very good at counterattacking to delay this and pull those attackers back. So we may see some of that happening right now. Looks like he might try to bait him down here. Okay, he's going to try to run around.
Yeah, he wants to see if he can catch any reinforcements right now, check that front wall, see if he can do any damage there or make SOS pull back, but he's going to find that absolutely none of those things are going to work out for him right now. In the meantime, he is just buying time while his new Hydras are being made, as well as some more Lings. And with every second SOS is not attacking, the more likely it becomes that Life can hold on.
Really important to note here, he did not waste a single force field. So he has saved all of that for this attack. He's leapfrogging pylons forward to reinforce, and it looks like this attack is about to begin.
All right, here we go. Some nice force fields going down. He's got to zone out those Hydralisks. He needs to keep his sentries alive as well. Already one does fall down, but he's picking off a Queen as well as a few Hydras.
He's got to back up. That's a pretty difficult concave to deal with. Stalker's being warped in, and they're going to have to go ahead and connect with the rest of this army. One Stalker goes down, Lings retreat back.
More and more Hydras being made right now. We do have the time warp going down on those two Queens. SOS continuing to control this area of the fight, but he doesn't have a whole lot of force fields left, and they are still very important here.
He's getting into a closer position here. We can start to force the workers to attack. The workers are coming down. The force fields go down. The ramp is blocked. A time warp there to make the kills a little bit easier.
And it looks like he is continuing to force field that ramp. A beautiful move as two of the hatcheries are above it. Many of Life's units actually stuck up there, and SOS is dividing and conquering Life's army.
Look at his control. It's perfect. He's staying just out long enough. He's got just enough sentries. He keeps locking out the ramp so reinforcements from the main can't get in there. He even keeps... There it is. Introducing our players over here in the bottom right, in the blue, our Zerg, the champion of BlizzCon last year. He is Life! in the upper left, in the red, winning BlizzCon 2013. Make some noise for sOs!
Once again, guys, get out there, hashtag WCS, hashtag BlizzCon, and let people know that this is going on. The world champion will be crowned, well, kind of for the second time here tonight.
Kind of for the second time indeed, Artosis. So we have a probe sent out here right away. And Life is actually making an expansion hatchery right now. And that has been spotted, and sOs maneuvers around this.
I love it. I don't think he's going to cannon rush. I think he just wants to see drones pulled up here.
This is smart. Okay, so why would the probe go up there, you're thinking, right? Because he's not making a forge. But at the higher levels, you would assume that if a probe goes up there, it would be to make cannon. So he's hoping he's actually going to be chased. But Life actually didn't, he's not sending anything. So that was a cute little attempt by sOs to trick him. But so far, Life has not been deterred.
That's the mind games right there. Bluff called. Life is 1-0 right now in this game, at least. But sOs got his Nexus first here as well. So a very greedy build order for him. And I have no doubt he'll go right into that gateway tech, skipping any sort of photon cans or anything. And these two are gearing up to have good economies early on.
Now note the probe here blocking the planting of the hatchery in the bottom right base. And there we have it, the pylon, right when the probe gets low enough that it's actually taking damage on, not on the shields. He just plants a pylon to try to delay that as much as possible, because with Zerg, whether it's against Terran or against Protoss, Zerg always have to be up an expansion. You can't stay on even bases, and that's what, sOs is trying to do. He's trying to slow it down.
Well, he's doing a good job of that, just for a moment at least, but Life is now going up to his 3 bases. In the meantime, sOs just going to go ahead and tech up, and Tasteless, maybe for the last time, I'm going to say, we have to wait until the cybernetics core is done, until we can really tell you what they're going to do.
Yeah, that's actually quite true, Artosis. This is in Legacy of the Void, which is coming out very shortly here. The game speeds up at a much faster rate. But I got to say, man, this could not be the, you could not ask for a better finals. First of all, the two players are fantastic. They're, the best of the best in their respective races. Also, one won last year, the other player won the year before, and this is the last time they will get to compete ever on this version of Starcraft 2.
And you know what?
The winner of this is their game.
Yeah, absolutely. With 2 world championships,
they won in Heart of the Swarm. Yeah,
that's 2/3 of all world championships in Heart of the Swarm. So.
Yeah, and that's more than 50%. So
that's
crazy.
There
you go. Yeah, they win right there.
And the other guy is definitely second. So there you have it. It's pretty wild when you start thinking of it in those terms. But one of the best things about this as well, there's like a lot of players that are like, oh, I get to the finals, or I always get round of 4 or 8 or something like that, or there's a lot of finals that we've had in StarCraft 2 where someone chokes at the end. But here, absolutely not. These two never choke. They always play their best.
You can see here at the bottom right hand of our screen, 36% votes in support for sOs, or vote of confidence in sOs, 64% here for Life. So Life clearly the fan favorite. I got to say, for us, the other commentators, we were all predicting sOs, but I think it is a really tough one to call. These guys are both such fantastic players.
Either one of these could win any tournament at any time. And that's just a fact. We've seen them just pop up when you don't expect and become champions. So it's going to be a wild finals no matter what. Hopefully we can go all the way to that 7th game, but it looks like the game now is starting to pick up, and we already have a Warp Prism and a Twilight Council on the way here for sOs.
As this game continues forward, we're going to have to find out if Life is really prepared for this Warp Prism to come out. He loads up. Nope, doesn't load up anything, excuse me. He just sends that right out. And it looks like this should have a collision here with an Overlord. I believe, yeah, the Overlord will see that over there. And it's going to be a Dark Shrine build. But the problem right now for sOs is when this is seen, the element of surprise really goes away.
Yeah.
And all Zerg has to do is position his army properly to hold this, but you don't know what exactly the drop is going to be. There's some ambiguity with that. And oh, this is cute. He actually makes a fake Immortal here. He hallucinates that in an attempt to mislead. Okay,
Like,
this
well,
is
if
this
Life
is how
was
we know it's SOS playing. Is that's the only time. I don't know how many years we've casted Heart of the Swarm for, but that's the only time we've seen someone send out the Warp Prism while hallucinating an Immortal in the front to cause that much misleading information.
That's right. I mean, that is a very tricky thing indeed. Of course, it does do damage, so there's a chance Life knows that's a trick. But we'll see,
it's pretty subtle, man.
Yeah, it really is. It's hard to figure out. But
oftentimes
right now,
when the Immortal comes out, you're not going, wait a minute. That's but you know what? The Lings are coming down here, and the Immortal's actually gone. Even with the Immortal here, this would have been a problem, but that Immortal was faked, and these Lings are coming out and attacking the expansion right now.
4 Dark Templars being warped in, but look at that. We already have an Overseer that's being morphed right at this base, and it looks like for sure this base is going to end up falling, and so will these DTs.
The DTs surrounded, 3 go down, 1 on the run, it's picked up and escapes. The expansion for SOS goes down, losing on both fronts.
Well, right now, Life is in a commanding lead. He has 3 bases up. He's killed off 2 sentries and 3 Dark Templars, taking no damage. He canceled a 4th base. Everything looks fantastic, so he's going for a Spire, but SOS's shenanigans are not done.
5 more DTs now. This is a lot to invest in this attack. If he loses this, I don't know what you were supposed to do to come back. But sometimes when you're really behind, you got to take a serious risk or you're just never going to recover.
Well, you got to do something tricky here, and look at this. He's moving right in, surrounding that Queen, going for the Spore Crawler right now, and it looks like he will be able to take that down in a matter of seconds.
He can get this hat trick potentially before it vanishes.
Oh, my God.
The Overseer's going to be too late. He manages to pull it off. The 3rd base goes down.
And it looks like those DTs will get cleaned up, but no! Picks them up. Saves 4 of the DTs.
That's so sick. I was going to say, gosh, that's great he got the hat trick, but, you know, he did lose those 4 DTs, and then they all ninja vanish.
That's what equalized it. 4 DTs actually cost more than a hat trick, but he picks them up, gets out of there, but he is taking another base. Looks like Ling's coming in, trying to deny this, trying to get the killer to cancel. Sentry's coming up, starting to throw down some forest fields. He's trying to stop that surface area. The Lings come around. They try to go after these sentries.
And it looks like the sentry is barely enough of a distraction here to keep that Nexus and cannon, 2 cannons from finishing. Oh, but does it matter? Talk about shifting gears. Meanwhile, an air attack headed over here, either to the main or the upper left base, depending on Life's choosing, is going there right now. And I'm not totally sure if SOS has any. No, he does not have any cannons.
Oh, it looks like there's nothing here. Warping in some Stalkers. They'll get targeted down in a matter of seconds. Mutalist's going to do just fine against them. The Nexus cannon does come down, but not before the Mutas pick off that warping in cannon.
And now this is okay, this is a disaster. I do not believe that there is any way for SOS to recover. No front is safe. Nexus goes down at the exposed front base. And meanwhile, the Mutalists are doing too much damage to the workers. The DTs are surrounded and spotted by the Overseer.
Looks like those DTs will end up falling. A lot of probes going down right now. We do have another Nexus cannon going down. Stalkers chasing these Mutas out. The probes in the middle of nowhere. GG!
Next game, this is Life against SOS in BlizzCon 2015. In the center right, in the blue, last year's champion, give it up for Life. In the top center, in the red, winning BlizzCon 2013, our Protoss, he is SOS.
And now tied up at 2-2. The winner of this one will be on match point for the rest of this match. So obviously a very, very important game coming up here. Such a close series. This is the perfect match. You could not have written a better script for the finals.
Esports fan fiction, man, except it's actually real. They're tied up 2-2 right now. And I'm not sure if we're ever going to see Life in this series do anything like that DT rush again. Never count him out, but I would predict he's going to stay away from that.
Yeah, I mean, both
SOS
games with Dark Templars, he lost.
Yeah.
Life is on top of that.
I just don't think it's viable against him. He just seems to absorb the attack too quickly. So we'll see. The Overlord now coming in here and checking to see the timing of the Nexus, which is going to be an inevitability in this matchup. And so From there, Life is just going to react and do whatever he can to get as many drones out as possible, unless he opts to do some kind of rush and end the game.
Yeah, you know, this game, both players kind of playing it safe, to be honest. It's like we see a hatchery first into a spawning pool, not too many drones, not too greedy there, not like a double hatchery first. And then SOS just going for a gateway into expansion. That's like very middle of the road. You get your expansion up, but you feel safe against just about everything. So both of them realize how important this game is in the grand scheme of things.
The probe now coming into the main, just do a little bit of scouting. And the core nicely placed over there in the back. That makes for a nice little block there, since on this map you can get a little bit behind the natural expansion. And you want to make sure absolutely that there's no way for Zerg to slip Lings in, especially out of all people, Life.
Oh, yeah, indeed. And in the meantime, Life is going to go ahead and take his own third base. No gas is taken quite yet, so Life going to be going for much later Ling speed. Something we haven't seen much out of him so far in this tournament.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We actually haven't seen as much of that. It'll be interesting. Are we going to see Life do, you think, any kind of a rushing in this game? I know he's already getting the third hatch up, but
it really doesn't look like it. It looks like he actually wants to play a defensive macro game, which is what you'd expect out of many, many Zergs, but not Life. Life has really been putting people on their back foot, but doesn't that make for the perfect mind game? That's the last thing SOS will expect.
You know, one thing to highlight is that it's not just about the players reading each other in this series. You know, we only have one match going on at a time, and obviously the players can spectate each other as they're playing. So to some extent, SOS might have been even taking some details from the previous games that Life had played and trying to factor that into what's happening here. And that's what makes it so difficult to win, not just a best of 5 or best of 7, but an entire tournament is trying to transition play, mask what you're going to do, disguise your intentions as well as possible.
Indeed, well said, Tasteless. Well, we did see that Overlord scouted that there is, in fact, a Stargate up for SOS, so that's definitely a very important scout. Shouldn't be taking much damage from the Oracle, but that's okay. It's not like you're far behind because of that. The Oracle is always going to get a pick off here and there, help against Zerglings, do a lot of scouting. It's still a very useful unit here for SOS.
And we have seen SOS do some builds where the Oracle is used to follow up, for instance, for detection and some kind of big aggressive attack. Not clear if that's going to be the case here. Whoa.
A fleet beacon.
What?
We are, that's a fleet beacon, everybody.
So that's what a fleet beacon looks like. All right.
I just saw Rotterdam fix the pillow on the couch. He's getting excited right now. We might be seeing something like early Tempest. We could be seeing... all
right, well, hold on.
I'm not going to say carriers. I don't want to get everyone's hopes up that much.
That's in the next expansion. That's okay. I think if you look at the way the map is structured, there's this giant, if we can get a shot of the giant cavity between, so see this space over here, and that extends all the way from, you know, the entire upper right side of the map, what I'm trying to say is vacant. So you can get Tempests over there, if this is what he's going to do, I don't know, and try, yeah, he is going to do that. So he's going to try to poke into that location. This is not normal. This is not something that you see really at all. And this is actually the last time these guys will play. Anybody will play in a major tournament for Heart of the Swarm. And so he's pulling this out right here, right now.
It's time for him to bust it out. I agree. And it's definitely not something that you see ever, really. So I'm excited to see, can SOS pull this off? Just such a quick Tempest. What does Life really have to kill that off right now? He's going for the lair just at this moment. Really, Queens and Spores are his only anti-air, but the Tempest vastly outranges both of those. What is he going to do?
SOS is placed out. This is so SOS. This is so weird. Okay, so he's actually just making a beeline over there. Now, it's not easy to spot this with Overlords because people don't really do this, so there's not Overlords there to begin with. To check for this?
Oh, he sees it now.
Saw it. Okay, he saw it. He knows now.
And now he's looking at the map structure. He's like, oh no.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
The upper right side of the map is empty, and oh no. He's going to come in over here, and you can just start gunning down workers.
You absolutely can. I mean, we might see a Spore Crawler come over and try to zone this out, but of course it can outrange that Spore Crawler and kill it off as well.
And he's actually making more and more Tempests. Now, there is a way that you can play this game where you just turtle up and sit on Tempest for a long time and try to outlast your opponent. But one of the reasons why we don't see stuff like this is it's normally deemed by all the experts that it probably wouldn't work. But sOs, when it's dead even right now in the finals of BlizzCon 2015, has decided this is a strat he's going to use.
Well, he tries to take a third base. That gets canceled. It's okay, though. His Tempest is still alive and well. He's gone ahead and used that Oracle to tag all those units so he can see them from even further away, because the Tempest can shoot much further than it sees. So yeah, having vision on this really helping him to put on more damage more quickly.
Oh, this has got to be so annoying for Life. This is not at all what Life had prepared for in this game.
Yes, indeed. And look at this follow-up by sOs. He's adding 5 gateways, getting a Twilight, getting that +1 attack. It looks like he wants to go into a Blink Stalker type of build, which is really smart because we have a Spire coming up from Life as the counter to this. And, I mean, if you're trying to go mutas and you have 10 of them and then 20 Blink Stalkers walk in, you're going to be dead.
Yeah, and this might just work because there's really not a lot, at least for the time being, that Zerg can do to stop the drones from getting killed. And, you know, the Queens are all back here trying to defend. So I think you're right. If sOs follows us up with a crazy attack into the front, it might be the wrong tech to actually defend this with.
Well, it looks like still more damage being done. 7 drones being picked off, Queens as well, Overlords as well. sOs doing a great job with this really crazy strategy right now. And with that many sentries, more Stalkers on the way, Blink as well. He's going to be in great shape against someone who's making 7 Corruptors right now.
Oh, man, and the Corruptors are like the last thing you want to use in a situation like that. He's continuing to press forward, poking and taking out these drones. Again, hiccups in mining for Zerg early on are really bad. It really slows the Zerg down a little bit more than Terran and Protoss because of the way the economy functions. So this, yeah, look, I mean, seems to be working perfectly. Life has finally stopped this attack. Oh,
he does get one.
Okay.
That's very nice, but the Mothership Core does save the other. The Oracle goes down. That's really good as well. That was all of his detection. So some nice pickoffs there, but in the meantime, sOs now has a strong ground army against someone who has spent a ton of money on Corruptors.
And we're going to have this push coming out here. And yeah, that was, okay, so he did that strategy because it's annoying for the Zerg, but then he knows that the Zerg will make the Corruptors, and therefore this next attack should be much more effective as the Protoss. So really in-depth thinking here from sOs. Is it going to work? I don't know. We don't really see stuff like this.
Yeah, and right now, Light is pumping out as many roaches as he can. He's getting that roach speed as well. And he just got Burrow, which is pretty awesome, because if this attack comes, there's no detection after killing off that Oracle. So he's going to have to wait for observers to come out. So this is a good call by Life. Definitely a possibility that he holds on here.
Yeah, losing that Oracle, it's always a problem. Any Oracle you build, you pretty much have to keep that throughout the majority of the game, at least the part where they're still teching up, because it has so much utility as time progresses. Now we have the army going back here. Protoss moving into 3 bases right now. Zerg going down into the bottom center to take the 4th base. Supplies 130 to 163. One thing to also know is when we saw that Tempest tech, even though that was cool and he was hitting drones, the other tech for Protoss was a little bit later, and Life was teching in a much more normal direction. So the battle may look a little bit different. It may be a battle that Life wins more easily than we expect. We don't know.
Well, let's see here. Life is going forward with these roaches, and a nice force field, though, but that Burrow, once again, without the observer there quite yet. Great call. We do see the Corruptors actually getting a little bit of value.
You know what? They could go right over the Stargate. They could actually get that Oracle as well.
That's actually a really nice move there. In the meantime, we do have the roaches actually going over towards those destructible rocks near the natural. And we'll have to see what else he can get done here. But so far, good defense by sOs.
And this is going to trigger the push here by sOs. He's going to be moving out now. And he's trying to engage these roaches as fast as he possibly can. And we'll probably see another blink on top of this right over here. No Overseer yet to try to spot for that observer, so the Corruptors could maybe gun it down.
Nice move, blinking forward here. He needs to pick off as much as he can, cleaning up a ton of the creep as well. Proximity pylon there, allowing him to warp in more Blink Stalkers, pushing forward with just a wonderful set of Blink Stalkers here to take out this army that's just not prepared.
And he's going to continue to push forward. Nice force fields, blinking back to get a good surface area. And it's going to be very important that Life holds on here. The supply's frighteningly even right now, 154 to 168.
Well, looks like nice force fields coming down here by sOs. Life getting a gigantic concave, though. He is going to start backing up, taking off some of these Corruptors as he does so. Doesn't want that corruption helping out too much in this battle. Pushing forward once again is sOs. He actually has a supply lead at this point. That's a big deal in this matchup. And we do have Life coming in with a big concave.
The Stalkers continuing to blink. A nice arc. The drones are being pulled. The angle better for Life. But the blinking might just be good enough for sOs. He's got to back up and start kiting these units. Coming back. Now Life will have to pull around. Right now this bridge acting like a giant funnel. Nobody can get a good fight when they're standing on it.
That's right. Whoever goes through the funnel is going into a giant concave. And of course, Tasteless, as we know, the concave beats the convex.
A wise man once said that, Artos, is very true. And as you can see, the attack continuing to move forward here. He's actually going to just try to dive in on these Stalkers. Way too many Stalkers now coming forward. Beautiful. And all Life can do is try to hang on. Supplies even never a good sign for Zerg unless both players are maxed out.
And look at this. sOs brings back out of retirement that Tempest after he had picked off every single Corruptor. And this is just poking and prodding Life, putting damage on, daring Life to come into this concave.
And Life once again engages here, but this Tempest continues to do a lot of damage. He's going to kite the Tempest back a little bit.
Oh, nice control there. Look at these supplies, neck and neck for the majority of this fight. These two are so close, so evenly matched. Life here on 4 bases, trying to get something done against sOs's attack.
Oh, and he's going to just reroute. Look at this. He's going to run all the way around and just go and blindside this hatchery.
Oh.
Because the setup was so perfect for Life. He just comes in here and gets this, and he can get out before the army of Life can even get there in time to defend.
Look at that. That was a great move by sOs, cutting out one of those macro hatcheries, getting 7 drones, hurting that economy. Before that move, Life had a slightly better economy than sOs, and now sOs is in the lead in that regard.
Yeah, and I don't know if sOs necessarily has to stop with the attack. He does have the luxury of maybe going back to his base and making another Nexus and continuing onward, but I think he could just keep the pressure on here. I think losing that hatchery is going to reduce the production for Life by a huge amount.
Well, right now he is going forward once again. Here's some great blinks coming out of sOs. Life trying to get something done. Burrow moving on those roaches, coming up next to those Stalkers, but blinking back into a beautiful concave right now is sOs, and it looks like he's starting to take the fight.
Yeah, he's just blinking perfectly enough, and that's the moment he blinks right on top. Life is in trouble. He's losing his army. There's going to be no way he'll be able to defend his 3rd base. The Stalkers push forward. Supply 123 to 91. I don't see any way that Life can survive this next attack.
Well, I kind of hope that he does, Tasteless, but I don't think it's going to be possible.
GG! BlizzCon 2015! Introducing our players over here in the bottom right, in the blue, the champion from last year, he is Life! His opponent in the upper right, the champion from BlizzCon 2013. In the red, he is sOs!
And of course, here we are, match point for that man right there, sOs. I want to give a little bit of love to our wonderful observers, Funka and Flo. Funka in game right now. They've done a great job this weekend.
And speccing in-game is actually pretty difficult to do.
Oh, yeah.
We both tried doing that before. It's really hard to do to catch everything. So, yeah, definitely, guys, tweet them some love. They're doing a fantastic job. Onto this map. In this specific game, we see both players are hugging the right side of the map. So that could mean some attacks from either party early on. It is a map that's rotationally symmetric, so the Zerg will be expanding towards the left side of the map. The Protoss can kind of expand to the left side of the map, but it's a little bit tougher. If you notice the distance between this expansion and then to the upper left, that's a pretty big distance to try to cover. And Protoss army, not really the nimble army, if you will. They're not mobile. You got to be positioned, or when you get in a fight, you got to make the position work for you with force fields and blink.
I think that's okay, though. I think sOs is planning on ending this game on 2 or 3 bases,
yeah,
to be honest.
I think you're probably right. We saw the probe try to deny the hatchery from being planted. Not so successful, so now the probe will then go rotate into the main. Meanwhile, SOS going for what looks to be a pretty generic Protoss build, getting a fast expand out, getting the walling up. It's not until the Cybernetics core is done that we're really going to know what he has in store for us. But frankly, with SOS, it could be anything. I cannot believe we saw Tempest in the final series of Heart of the Swarm used, first of all, but then it actually won. He actually won a game with it, which is just really crazy to me. So I don't know. SOS might have something else incredible up his sleeve.
He definitely could, but what will Life do here? While SOS has shown us the crazy strats so far in this series and in this tournament overall that have really wowed us and wooed us, what is Life gonna do? His life is on the line right now. If he wants to win this World Championship, he has to win this game. So does he play reactive? Does he have some sort of aggressive style plan? What is he going to do to ensure victory here over SOS?
And I feel like we haven't really had the proper late game ZVP here. Most of these games, someone's doing something crazy, attacking early, knocking the other guy off his feet. I mean, we've barely had any Colossi in this game at all, Artosis. This is, it's been pretty wild.
Uh-oh. We have a robotics right off the bat here.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us what this is? Because we've seen this before, and it's been pretty effective.
Well, there's a couple things it could be. It could be some sort of warp prism shenanigans, but I'm guessing this is going to be an Immortal push. I think he's going to do an Immortal all-in, a build that has been around for a very long time.
Harding made this very popular. He was very successful with this. But it's pretty scary. You can hit the Zerg, you hit the Zerg so hard, and if the Zerg doesn't have perfect control, they just get boxed out of position, and they eventually lose.
Yeah, you know, when you're warping in a lot of units, it can be, yeah, there it is, the Immortal push is coming. When Protoss does an early attack against Zerg, a lot of the time you need Roaches to fend that off, but the Immortal is so good against Roaches. It does so much damage against buildings like Spine Crawlers that those units become a lot less good, and this is what SOS is going for. It's a very devastating push, and Life is going to have to figure out that it's happening very soon if he wants to win.
We'll see if Life is prepared. If anybody could hold it, it's Life. Note that the Immortal is parked inside the main. Revealing the Immortal is the tell. That's why we saw, I think it was 2 games ago, the hallucinated Immortal possibly push out. You know, it's one of those ones where it could be a little bit misleading.
You're right. You're actually completely right about this. Remember, guys, when SOS made Hallucinated Immortal, I guarantee you he planned an Immortal push later on in the series, and that was part of this. So that it's throwing Life off. And what a beautiful mind game once again from SOS. Here we go. The gates are finishing. A Warp Prism on the way. He's got his 2 Immortals. That's all he thinks he's going to need. This is going to be really scary for Life.
Note the Lings grazed by the Protoss entrance, but did not see the Immortal. They were just a few pixels off from spotting that. So this could still blindside Life here. We do have a Hydralisk 10 coming up.
A lot of Lings as well.
Yeah, it seems like he senses something's coming his way. Well, and the push has started.
A third base probably should have been up by now, so Life is getting ready. He's making a lot of units. He's doing everything correctly to try to hold this. But will he be able to? SOS is moving down the map now, warping in some additional units as well, using that cliff over his natural.
He's coming down now. Now, the game Life wants to play is trying to intercept reinforcements, hit from different sides, and ideally burn out force fields in the middle of the map versus force fields being cast to cause obstructions, where when SOS is actually hitting the expansion. And so far, SOS has not bitten the bait. He is not going to cast a force field until he is absolutely sure that he has to.
He's saving every single one. We have a bunch of Hydras about to pop out. They do not have range yet. And some nice force fields coming down, blocking out Hydras and some Lings. It looks like he's divided up this army. SOS going to town on these drones.
Beautiful force fields. The Hydras beginning to slip around and hit the Immortals less impactful since there are not a lot of Roaches, but the Warp Prism warping.
Oh! Beautiful move, taking to the Warp Prism, and now it's just a matter of time before Life can hold this. Some force fields going down that ramp. All the drones coming off the line. He has to remove these units.
I believe he's going to be running out of force fields here for that ramp. He can still do at least a decent amount of damage. That attack could have possibly won this game, but in the last second, Life managed to gun down the Warp Prism in a moment that could change history.
Oh my God, that was insane. Now he's still lost 29 drones. This game is not over. Life has not won this game yet, but sOs is in a tough spot. He's making another immortal. We have those Hydras coming across that map right now. It's gonna be hard for sOs to hold on.
The Hydras are coming up now. They're going to be hitting the cybernetics core, which is a huge problem because you need a lot of the units from the cybernetics core to actually defend this attack, carving their way through the pylons and the gateways. More Hydras reinforcing. Ling's on standby, and he will now try to go in here for the kill.
All right, here he goes. Some force fields are used, but again, he doesn't actually have a cybernetics core. He can't make any more sentries or stalkers. It's just going to be Zealots popping out right now. He's trying to make a Colossus, but there are a lot of Hydras and Lings coming in right now.
And the Lings are now spilling over on top of the sentries. The stalkers, it doesn't look like sOs can hold on. Life is tearing in, and there's no way he's going to be able to recover from this.
It looks like right now we do have that Nexus cannon going down, trying to target down as many of these Hydras as possible. The first Colossus will be popping out soon. sOs trying frantically to hold on, warping in some Zealots, but Life's attack continues.
Countless Lings were being produced, sent out here, but it looks like actually Life has stopped. He's starting to manufacture drones. He's not entirely sure this is going to work. He may very well still try to re-engage here and even get the killing blow. sOs has to hang on.
He's trying his best. The Colossus is out. The Colossus is coming down. Targeting down these Hydras right now. They're trying to deal some damage to him, but he has some good micro pulling this back. The Nexus falls in the natural.
Just in the nick of time, Life manages to take out the Nexus with, I think, there was one Hydra retreating there. That was the last thing remaining, and he ran out. That is forcing sOs to... I mean, he has to do something now. I'm not sure quite what that would be. He's going to wall off his main with pylons, and he's going to go all in. The odds of this working are low, but it's sOs, and he's pretty damn good in situations like this.
That's true. That's true. He has a second Colossus popping out right now. It looks like Life going to go ahead and poke that pylon wall. And as soon as you see a wall like that, you know for a fact he is going all in on you. So we're going to see nothing but units out of Life. Can he hold on? This is sOs's final push.
Oh, and a big mistake there. You can't afford to lose any extra units in the counter all in occurring here. Mothership core right now used to defend from these Lings getting inside the main. The push is commencing. Right now, supplies actually shockingly even at 92 to 109.
And this is a pretty strong army. He has two Colossi in here. He has force fields. Nice concave here on top of the ramp for Life. Backs up, doesn't want to walk down into that Colossus range.
And so they begin to rotate back. Remember, Life just has to buy time. That's why I said, and this is the puzzle. Oh, the Colossi goes down. And the Hydra's beginning to surround as well.
If some nice force fields do go down, he's keeping that Colossi alive, but for how long? It's taking a lot of damage. Good force fields still warping in some Zealots right now. He's trying to micro back, but Life is pushing forward. He has too many Hydras.
Introducing our players over here in the upper left. In the blue, he is sOs. And in the bottom right, in the red, our Zerg player bringing us here into our final match. Make some noise for Life!
And here we are. Everything you're about to see is the last time you'll see it in the heart of the swarm. Because Legacy of the Void is coming.
Oh, man, the feels.
Indeed.
The feels, man.
Oh, a forge going down.
Oh, my God.
That's the last forge we're going to see in Heart of the Swarm.
I don't know if there are forges in Legacy of the Void or not. Well, he's going for a forge first now. On 4-player maps, cannon rushes are a little bit more effective, which might sound a little bit weird, but it's true because the way you can scout it out and actually map it out. Now, Life is coming in here.
He wants to do a speedling rush, and sOs wants to do
a cannon rush. Yeah. They both wanted to try to end it fast. So this sort of
seems appropriate. Game 7
seems appropriate. So the result is neither of them can do that to each other. So this game sort of normalizes out here.
Yeah. I would say it actually gives like maybe a slight edge to sOs because you know, throwing down a cannon, having his walling up, he's going to be completely safe. Speed Zergling Rush will do nothing to him. Of course, Life can turn that on its head at any moment and go all in, but
well, you know,
I don't expect it.
One thing that also SOS has to be careful about is, you know, when Life gets the speedlings, if he takes out the probe and just contains SOS does not have a good idea of what's going on, which means Life could maybe do some other kind of attack or tech in a strange way, and that might throw SOS off.
Definitely the case, and that's something that Life does all the time, so expect it. And look, 4 more Zerglings on the way. Not something you would expect. Let's see if he makes any more than that, though. 8, okay, we can do 8. You're gonna do 10 or 6? Oh, 10.
He's getting more Zerglings.
This is kind of crazy.
This is not what you're exactly.
He's mining gas again.
Oh my God!
Nest.
Are you serious? He's gonna try to end it. This is not like in your textbook Zerg play. But that's okay, because if it works once, you've won in Heart of the Swarm. That's it. It's sometimes when you do the weirdest thing when the world's watching, that's when it actually ends up working out. You don't have to play by the rules that other pro gamers think you should be governed by. So
Life has decided that, you know, this is how he wants to do it. Okay, he sees more Lings coming. The fact that he has his probe out here is so important. He doesn't know about the Baneling Nest yet, but he could be guessing that. Obviously, Zerglings can't break through that wall.
He knows there's a watchtower there, though. I mean, is he just, let's see if the next pair of Lings, can we get a shot? Oh,
I think he just doesn't know that a probe got out.
Okay, so this is the tell. SOS should know that something's coming, and I think he might suspect that it's this. But
there we go. Oh, another cannon. That's important.
Very important, and we're going to see if this connects well or not.
Is this enough, though? I don't know that is.
I don't know.
He's getting ready to wall in the top. That's really important.
He knows. He's identified it. And the attack is about to begin. The Banelings are coming forward. Can he break it?
That's a lot of Speedlings, and they are coming in right now. They're going to be able to eliminate these cannons in a matter of seconds. We do have the Mothership Core on top. Another Baneling coming in as well, and that cannon will fall.
And the Baneling connects. He does manage to breach the expansion. However, SOS has walled off into the access to his main. The Mothership Core is still down here, able to do damage. The Sentry isolated, nice force field there, but the Sentry does go down.
Looks like right now he is trying to get a cannon down here. He doesn't want to lose the low ground. If he loses it, it becomes much harder to hold. Another force field, making that Sentry try to protect this cannon, but I don't think that'll be enough.
He's going to lose the gateway at the entrance. He'll lose that. He'll end up losing the Forge as well, and the Cybernetic Score, which means SOS essentially has nothing but paperweights blocking his entrance.
Let's see what is going to happen next. He's going after this Nexus, rallying more and more Zerglings down, and just the Mothership Core is here to defend.
He's activated Nexus Cannon, and he decides to pull out. That was a really, really tough decision to make. He decides to back out, and
oh my God, this is not over, guys.
And the Mothership Core is actually driving out the Lings and the Baneling, and SOS is frantically trying to reassemble this. He needs to repower everything down here, or the next blow will be a killing one.
Yeah, look at this. He's trying to get some more buildings in. He needs some cannons up there as well. Of course, his economy not looking too hot, but neither is Life's. If Life doesn't get a win off of this...
Don't forget, Life does not have many drones, so if he doesn't kill him, then Life's going to lose because he doesn't have any workers. He's investing so much in these attacks.
All right, it looks like he's going to go ahead and try to punch a hole once again, going right over next to this cannon, and he's trying to target down these Banelings. The Banelings will connect. The Zerglings get in once again, and he does not have another Nexus cannon.
He has another cannon, though, over here on the high ground, but you're totally right. The Nexus can't really be defended here. Another Sentry going to pop out. Right now, worker count 23 for SOS, 14 for Life. This is becoming one of the wonkiest games I've ever casted.
Well, it looks like this natural Nexus will be falling down, but he doesn't want to give up everything down here. Life takes out the Nexus, pushing forward right now, trying to take out these cannons before they warp in, but SOS is not giving up.
It's become an insane game. He's going to lose the core. He's losing the gateway. Infrastructure for SOS is so behind right now. At the same time, though, let's not forget, back in Life space right now, there's hardly any, there's no expansion right now. He doesn't have a ton going on. You want to get that expo up. You want to get that running. it's a bit of a problem. Slowly but surely, SOS is going to be able to secure this location as long as he keeps those sentries in a good position.
That's right. The crisis management that SOS has shown us is second to none. The fact that he is still alive and still in this game, that Forge, that last Forge from Heart of the Swarm is standing strong right now, and he is retaking his natural expansion.
He's got a nice little wall in there with the sentries, and I actually think this game is going to normalize. I can't believe SOS managed to survive that. And, you know, we saw that the attack got in there and did some damage, but it was not enough to end the game. And that's one of the reasons why we don't see that strategy as much, is that if you're pretty good, you can kind of survive that. So now we see SOS making a Stargate, and he's going to start harassing his opponent. Life is trying to poke in here, maybe bait out force fields, or, you know, just see if he can spot anything, because he's sort of playing in the dark from here.
Life is trying to get any information he can and just try to figure out what's going on, because, again, as you said, his drone count was so low. He's actually behind economy-wise, but he has his hatchery up. He's sending all his drones down. This is really going to help him out. But if this Oracle that SOS is making gets down there and does some damage, I don't know how Life will recover.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The tables have really turned here, because, oh, hold up. That actually is so good right now for SOS. He's actually just trapped these Lings in his base, and he could slowly kill them off.
Well, they're waiting for that force field to go away. There's no cannon to punish, so the force field's not enough. Oh, he's going to pick off some sentries, perhaps.
No, not just yet. No,
he got one. That's pretty good, I guess, considering those were trapped already.
Yeah, that's definitely something.
Well, looks like he's still trying to get some damage done, but good micro there by SOS. Continues to hold on. The Oracle starting to approach the base here of Life. Of course, he saw the Oracle, so he has some spores being made, has multiple queens as well.
Oracle now coming in. And it looks like we might have some drone kills here. Now, even though this game's starting to look normal, they got here in very weird ways. And right now, SOS has a worker lead here. It's 44-34, which is very important, because that's not what this matchup is supposed to look like at this phase of the game, which means SOS has a little bit more wiggle room. Can't go across the map, but he could definitely try to just force an expansion.
Well, you know, we're going to have to see what his choices are going forward here. For Life, on the other hand, we already see what he wants. He wants speed roaches. He wants to get burrow. SOS falling back on the old favorite of Protoss in Heart of the Swarm. Going to be Blink Stalkers with +2 attack and a third base.
So he's just using the Oracle here to survey and monitor exactly how many drones are mining, when they're being transferred. SOS is, oh my God, that was close. Barely escaping. Do not lose the Oracle. That would have been very bad, because then SOS is in the dark.
Yeah.
At the same time, SOS now taking a third base. I think SOS is actually starting to get back into this game. He's going to be in good shape, and I think it actually might be a big attack from SOS in the next couple of minutes here, that it will be up to Life to survive.
Yeah, I mean, that's really looking like that, but Life is getting ready. He's making a lot of roaches right now. He actually has fewer drones than there are probes out for SOS, so that's kind of a problem. You need a bigger economy as Zerg than Protoss, but if you crush the army, it doesn't matter how many drones you have. So we're going to have to see, can he hold on here? That's a lot of sentries to deal with, though.
He's starting to poke forward. The attack is beginning to commence. This went uncontested across the map. That's not the Life we normally see. But again, he got this game in a different spot. He didn't have enough funding for Lings in this phase of the game to try to slow this down. The Stalkers are warping in. The pressure will be on the third base as he now commences his attack.
All right now Life pulling back, trying to get a good defense going, spreading out his roaches. He knows he's going to need a nice big flank here. Might be going for a counterattack there as well. And here it comes. +2 and Blink is finished. Detection is up. A lot of sentries as well. Life right now pulling back his roaches. Can he hold on?
SOS is beginning to push forward. The roaches not quite in sync. The ones in the back not connecting at the same time as the ones in the front. SOS back and forth, picking his engagements wisely. It looks like he'll continue to push up into the third base.
Nice moves by Life. He's trying to pick off the pylon here, if at all possible. Nice force fields going down, picking off a lot of roaches. And it looks like this third base's Life is forfeit. Definitely SOS should be able to pick it off.
SOS, though, picking his fights wisely. He wants to make absolutely sure he does not overextend. Now with Blink ready, he continues to press forward. He has plenty of force fields available. The third base is going down for Life.
All right, this makes it 3 bases for SOS, 2 for Life. Life is in a dire position indeed. Can he hold on? The Roaches continue to try to flank from the other side. Right now, we do have SOS pushing forward. Roach Burrow done here for Life. Gonna Burrow move away from those force fields.
He is using that Oracle to spot. Thank God he didn't lose that earlier on. The Force is continuing to attack in the front. Right now, Life just trying to deny this attack in the back. 113 supply to 99.
Look at this, a nice flank here by these Roaches, using that Burrow movement to try to get a nice position. But the Stalkers come back, clean those up, and rejoin. Right now, SOS definitely with a stronger army.
SOS pushing forward now. He is closing in on the final base. Life looks like he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to go to try for possibly one more final flank, but it looks like SOS has managed to turn this game around from a near-death Baneling bust into a closing killing attack.
Well, here we go. Burrow moving forward from Life, getting on top of those sentries, picking up the sentries oh so quickly, but there's a lot of Blink Stalkers to deal with. Is there enough damage here from Life to eliminate all of these Blink Stalkers? Some nice blinking back by SOS, eliminating the Roaches, and it looks like SOS should be taking this game.
In the last moment when he ran out of room, he did it!
SOS is your 2015 WCS StarCraft 2 World Champion!
World Champion indeed, Artosis. Give it up for SOS!